Okay. Shelley, I have a question on this that it's just been on my mind lately, just with someone dealing with breast cancer, trying to put myself in their shoes,
Okay.
because it is very frightening. I can only imagine how frightening it is, but I know it is very frightening experience.
Right.
How is it to have? How important is it to have support, to have people there? Because I know if it was me, I'll be almost afraid to be alone.
Right. Man, support is paramount. Like, it. I don't see how people do it without support. And I went through, when I was going to some of my treatments, I would see other people alone, and it saddened me because I couldn't imagine how they feel. And I honestly feel like, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't know, I don't know the answers to everything, but I do feel like some people, it's harder for them, and their body may deteriorate faster or whatever because they don't have that emotional support. And like without the support, I wouldn't have been in my right mind. Like, support is more than people just physically being there. It's people who are there for you emotionally, spiritually. I had people praying for me at times when I didn't feel like praying, or I was just so upset that I couldn't open my mouth to do so. Where I had people who were able to do things for me that I just couldn't do. I had friends who cooked me dinner. I had friends who bought me cases of water just so I could have water, all the time. Like, it was just the simple things. Oh, I have friends who go to the doctor with me all the time. And I did write a post about that, like going to the doctor by yourself. But I see people all the time who do it, and I really feel like not having a person there who's like a second set of ears also. They do recommend that you bring another person to the doctor because they feed you so much information that you're not hearing it all anyways, and your brain is on the fact that you have cancer. You're not thinking about, all the rest of the stuff that they're telling you. So it's important to having support is just, I think it's one of the keys to making it through that process.
Okay. I remember reading one of your posts when you actually took a visit to appointment by yourself. Yeah. And you were recalling the moment, walking into the doctor's office, and you really wanted people to be there with you, but, you was trying to chuck it up and be tough, and you said you shed some tears. Talk about that post a little bit more, would you?
Yeah. I decided, since I had been through that process of radiation before, so, I made it through chemo, and I was like, oh, I just got to go here today and, do the same thing they did before 2 years ago. So I was kind of having a know-it-all situation with myself. And then I kind of, it was funny because like during the summer, some of my friends, they are teachers. So, and one of my friends, she wasn't working this summer, so they were always available. But then it was like nobody was available that day. And I really didn't ask. And I think if I would have stressed it, and they would have, kind of changed their schedule to help me out. But I walked in there thinking that I was going to be okay. And just being back in that environment, I hadn't been in that building for 2 years. And the last time I left that building, I vowed never to return. So to be back there, and see the same people, the same waiting room, the same chairs, the same exam rooms and machines, even the same nurses, like, it was like the Twilight Zone, it just became very overwhelming in like a matter of minutes. I was like, this is a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know if somebody else was there with me, it could have taken my mind off of it, or I just could have, they could have been there to reassure me or give me some encouragement, but I was alone. So, and that was a mistake I made, and that's one thing I tell people, like, don't go to the doctor by yourself, because you never know how you'll feel. You know, you might have a situation where you really can't pull yourself together, and if you have someone there you know who loves you and cares about you, having them there, support is great.
You started your blog. Can you give the name of your blog, please?
Yes, the name of my blog is Another Day in the Life of a Champion. I call myself the Frolicking Champion.
Another Day in the Life of the Champion. Is that .com or?
Oh, I'm sorry. The actual blog address is www.thefrolickingchampion.wordpress.com.
Okay. Say it again. Say it again.
www.thefrolickingchampion.wordpress.com.
Okay. Why did you decide to start a blog and openly share something so private? I mean, I myself, I can be a private person,
Right.
Especially being a online journalist and so forth.
Right.
I could be quite private, but you decide to open up and share this experience with the world. What made you decide to do so?
Honestly, I was encouraged by a good friend of mine named Takia, and I love to write, and I like to express myself through writing, and I figured, she said, you should just write, like she's actually a therapist also, so one of the tools that she suggested I use to kind of get some of my frustrations out and express myself was writing. So I thought about it, and I thought, I only showed it to like my closest 10 friends, including my sister and my mom, when I first did it. But like every time I wrote a post, it was just so therapeutic. And then I would be around sitting like, oh, I can write about this, And honestly, I just kept finding that throughout the whole process, there were so many lessons that I was learning personally, and so many things that I felt like God was speaking to me on, that it could be beneficial to other people to hear as well. So really, like, my whole purpose in doing it was not only to, have a kind of like a type of therapy for myself, but also to encourage other people, because I went through it in '08, and many people didn't even know. Like, people didn't know now. Like, if it wasn't for me wearing different wigs, I don't think people would have known, something was going on, because, a lot of people were just like, oh, why'd you cut your hair? Like, what are you doing with your hair? Because I had, like, really big curly hair. So when they weren't seeing the hair anymore, then they were like, hey, what's going on? And I kind of had to explain, But I did it to help other people and to help myself, and also to kind of get conversation started on, being so young. Like, you hear about people telling people to get, their mammogram starting at 40 and do self-checks. And like I said, when I was 25, I wasn't doing self-checks every month. I mean, because cancer wasn't something I thought that could happen to someone so young like myself. But, it happened, and it happened at 25, and it happened at 27. So really, it's an awareness piece as well.
Can we expect a book from you in the future?
A book would be great. I hope so. But I would love to write a book, and
I think you should.
Share it.
Yeah, I think you should turn the blog into a book. It'd be great.
I think that would be cool. Like, if I could have somebody, if I could have somebody, critique my work and let me know if I'm writing good enough to have a book, then that'd be good.
Nah, man, I think you should do it. You sharing
Everybody
your story.
has a book. I mean, the video vixen has a book. I can have a book.
Yeah, you right about that. If she can have a book, then you most certainly can have a book. What you're talking about is needed. Is definitely needed. So yeah, I strongly encourage you to please sit down and self-publish a book. And hey, if you want to, definitely pitch it to a major publisher, I say do that as well. Yeah.
I think I should, you know?
Yeah. I know you should. I'll leave it up to you to finally decide, but I know you should. That's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Okay, well, moving forward,
Okay.
you know, you're pretty confident. You say you are a breast cancer conqueror.
Yes.
You're 27 years old. You're my age. You and I are the same age.
Oh, cool.
What do you want out of life, Shelley?
Oh, I want so much. I want it all. To be honest,
we can't tell you can't tell a movie here, Shelley. I mean,
what?
It's an interview, not a movie. It's okay.
Yeah.
You say I want so much.
What do I want out of life?
Yeah.
I want a lot. I want a husband and some kids. Like, no, I'm being real. But I really feel like my purpose in life is to uplift and educate other people. By what means, I don't know. But I do know I have a passion for serving and helping people. And I definitely feel like this experience has kind of given me a path to choose to take. And, you know, I don't think this happened. I by no means think that God was like, oh, I'm going to, you know, give Shirley cancer so she can, you know, whatever. No, I think, you know, it happened. But now I can turn, you know, like Kanye says, tragedy to triumph. And for me, you know, it's not about like focusing on like, oh, something really crazy happened in my life. I have to move on from that point. And I feel like whatever I can use that was negative and turn it into a positive. And then in the same token, educate people, make them aware, and then make them feel better about themselves, because knowledge is power, and when knowledge put into action is power. So the more you are able to know, you know, the better life you can live. So I definitely just want to be able to just travel the world and just speak to people on about just enhancing their life and, you know, not getting caught up in the box, and just living the best life they can and being happy and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, that concludes our interview, Shelley.
Oh, great.
And I thank you so much